Hey everyone, welcome in. I'm Jess. Tonight is Community Connections, and I am joined here by board game designer Ashwin Kamath. Hello, Ashwin. How are you?
All right, how are you? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. A local Pacific Northwesterner. So I figured time zone wouldn't be an issue.
Yep.
How was your day today? Did
Panda!
you
How's it going?
Oh, Panda's here.
Hey, Panda.
Welcome in, Panda. Yeah, how is it going up there where you are? Because you're just north of me. And today we had some scattered showers, but then it got really hot.
Yeah, I felt that for sure. I don't know. Let's talk about the weather, everyone. It's going to get into the 80s this week, and can't wait to stay inside with the air conditioning.
Yes, there we go. It is
But
not fall yet. It is not fall yet. Yeah. So, I am super excited to hang out with Ashwin for the next hour or so. If you have any questions for him, please feel free to pop them in the chat. Hello.
I'm short on material, so please ask.
Yeah.
I got like two things to say, and then it's going to be radio silent.
Yeah, I was joking with him earlier. I was like, sometimes you can talk as long as you want, and then sometimes if you don't have anything to say, you could say pass. So this could be a really quick stream, or it could be a fairly long. We might learn a lot about Ashwin, and we might learn absolutely nothing. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I get to decide that.
Yes, exactly. Hello, Lady T and Panda and Gus or not. Welcome in. Anyone else that's lurking right now, I appreciate y'all. So first and foremost, before we dive deep, Ashwin, why don't you tell everybody who you are and what you do in the board gaming space?
My name is Ashwin. I'm in the board gaming space. I'm a game designer, and I've had a couple games published, and I was and still am an architect, and I took a couple years off from that to kind of experiment and kind of go all in and try my hand at game design full time. And I've been doing that this year as well as last year, but last year I kind of worked for a company, Funko Games, may have heard of them, and so now I'm kind of just doing freelance stuff right now.
Very cool. And what are a few of your game designs that people might be familiar with?
Well, the one that you would probably be like most associated with is the Wolves that came out by Petasaurus Games this time last year. Sold out at Essen. Was top of the hotness on Board Game Geek, but for like all of 5 minutes. But so that's what maybe you may have might know me from. But with Funko, I've been part of a few games. The most notable one would be Star Wars Rivals, which is a collectibles miniatures game, and also Disney animated and a couple others as well. But
very cool. That's super awesome. Have you been following? Okay, so I have to know, for coming from a fellow Star Wars enthusiast myself, how deep are you in the Star Wars lore? Like, are you movies and novels and TV shows and undisclosed videos and all of that kind of stuff? Or are you just like lightly dabble in the Star Wars lore?
I dabble.
Okay.
I have seen the movies a couple times. I've seen most of these shows on Disney Plus.
Sure.
Mostly dabble.
Okay.
So I guess I'm an enthusiast, but I was kind of I grew up on those movies from like the 4, 5, and 6, and then didn't really get excited about the movies when the prequels, we'll say.
Okay.
And then Episode 7 came out, and I think Rogue One came out, and those were the highlights for me. Those two movies,
nice.
As well as Episode 8. I really enjoyed that one. That was by like, yeah. So those three kind of really have kind of drew me into the series.
You would recognize him.
Yeah, I think so. I need to zoom in here. My boomer eyes. That's Chewbacca.
Okay, and then you know her over there.
If that's Ahsoka, then yeah. But Ahsoka from the Ahsoka series.
Right.
Also known as Rosario Dawson.
Right. And then, do you know who this is?
So I've only seen one episode of The Mandalorian. I know who that is because
Okay.
I exist on I exist in the internet.
Okay.
But yeah, Grogu, my boy Grogu.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's a test right away, says Panda. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
passed. But actually,
Nice.
it was so fun. Like we could get into this with further questions, but to work on a game like Star Wars Rivals was bar none the best experience I've ever had
Cool.
working in any game of any capacity. But I I couldn't just design any game. I had to kind of understand the story, the arc, why these characters matter, why these characters exist, why do fans care about these characters, why do these like what do these characters represent in the lore before, the lore after, like just think about all of that and pay homage to the fan, the culture, the and respect the the intellectual property that Disney presented, because if we did a poor job and a poor reflection on that, like, it's just going to be, like what are we doing here? We slapped on a label that didn't make sense. So it was really interesting. I got to learn a lot about that process for sure.
Very cool. And thank you so much for the biddies. I have Cameron Thompson says, Ashwin! All in caps.
That's all he knows me by, yeah.
Welcome
What's up,
in.
Cameron?
Thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions, obviously for Ashwin, please feel free to pop them in the chat and I'll get to them when I can. But first and foremost, we need to know, Ashwin, how did you get into board games? Is there an origin story of a young one dabbling in games, or was it a recent acquisition?
I feel like it's been my whole life trajectory since like birth. I was always very competitive, hyper competitive in things like Risk and Stratego and Othello and Old Maid and any game that I had my hands on. I enjoyed that competition. It was in chess as a young kid, and really enjoyed those games. And I think is always like a back bone of who I was. And even when I was like in high school getting jobs, I was in sales for a game store, an assistant manager to the regional manager of game stores, right? Sold product left and right, and got into tabletop miniatures games as well, pretty competitively. And so like my whole life was about that. And then I took a big break to kind of really focus in on other things like video games. But here we are back into board games. Yeah.
Nice. Would you prefer cooperative games or competitive games?
Oh, yeah. It's so funny. I'll try to be as long-winded as I can, but it's not going to be that. It's not that interesting or that funny. Very, to be quick. I like and prefer competitive games. Cooperative games are fun when they're silly, when they make you kind of do something unusual or abnormal, or make you think a certain way, or maybe we're doing some sort of deduction or reason, like logic kind of game, puzzle together. That's always fun to realize that together as a group. Cooperative games, kind of in a nutshell, though, kind of make me. I get fidgety. I get like restless, and I want to do something more. But and that's fine. That's for everyone. It's a different cup of tea, I guess. But cooperative games are also very necessary, and I think when I first moved here to the Northwest, I was looking up for friends, and I didn't know exactly where to go to, so I started a board game meetup group, and it was all about cooperative games, just to like see if people would even cooperate with me. They joined, B, and then they would experience games like Pandemic and other cooperative games. And then if they cared about those, then they were a nice segue into more competitive or more directly opposing games. So yeah.
Nice.
Long story short, I prefer competitive games, but cooperative games are so necessary, and there's some of them that are amazing that I love. Like one of my favorite games is Magic Maze, and Magic Maze is a silent cooperative game.
Yeah.
And
what do you like about it?
Well, it makes people feel stupid. It makes people feel anxious, like they're doing something wrong. You're cooperating on a very silly terms that you're moving things together. So I'm not purple player. I'm not green player. We are all purple and green player, but we are moving in a like cardinal system, and only I can move north, and only you can move east. So if I want to get the purple meeple to something, I can't like verbally describe it. I have to move a pawn and kind of gesture that, hey, maybe the person who has that direction or that action, you know. And I think that is triggering for some people, but I think it's very exciting and creates for fun, like post-game conversation. And there's like a learning group curve. Like once you kind of learn certain things, then like you start to level up as a group, and then the game evolves as well and gets harder. And it like the map is like, you know, the theme is silly where you're fantasy characters or fantasy tropes in a shopping mall, right? That's a silly premise. That's amazing because the premise doesn't matter, but then the whole world kind of devolves and explodes on itself, and the same set core rules are implied and used, and so you get to learn the rules, and then you get to use those rules and level up with each other, and then the game says screw you and like splits it into 2 levels, makes you unable to use certain things certain times. That's why I like it. I don't know why I'm talking so much about the game, but I really enjoy it.
No, that's nice. I like it when you
heard
like
of it before?
something. Yes, I have yet to play it, but I've heard that similarly in that it's like delightfully frustrating to play.
Oh yeah,
because you're just so limited in your abilities to speak and everything. It kind of like one of those co-ops that I would think of would be the game, or the mind. So like probably more of the mind, where it's like you literally cannot say anything, but you're just sitting there of like, like, you know, you pull out one card and everybody's looking at you like, oh God, please don't, you know.
I actually also love cooperative games because sometimes you just want to get together with friends. You don't want to have someone leave with a bad experience, or they lost, or you know, they felt less than. And so cooperative games help you kind of arrive at a goal and an accomplishment and a victory. They leave happy and or drunk and or, you know, in a taxi. So you know, in a lot of ways, it's like it's a good thing to have a variety of games. Just so then group dependent
what to play
results, like when exactly.
Cameron says we need a tier list of all of your favorite games.
What
would the tier be though, Cameron?
Cameron and I, well, he would have an S tier. We would have like a Wancho tier. Cameron and I have a show on, used to be on Twitch. It's on YouTube now. And he's like, I wouldn't say he's trolling. He's not at all. Love him to death. He and I are good friends, but we really have a show that's about nothing to do with board games. It has some everything to do with like the NBA and basketball.
Okay.
But what we do is we kind of like tier list players, just subject them to nothing, and we kind of, you know, praise or sing their praises or trash them in a variety of ways. And we have so much off-season content. Go check us out at Wolves After Dark. We've been radio silent for about 4 months, but, you know, can't wait to start the season again with you, Cameron.
Nice. That's awesome. All right, so speaking of game nights and things like that, Ashwin, do you have a go-to game night snack and beverage?
Man, you are on with these questions. They're pretty funny. Do I have a beverage?
And snack. You can't have a drink without something to munch on.
All right. Well, I can be very specific. When I play test or when I game with specific friends, a go-to snack would be like chips and salsa.
Okay.
But a specific salsa, not like from the store, like homemade salsa.
Nice.
And Juanita's chips, of course. And for beverage, it'd probably just be like, you know, we like our LaCroix over here, so probably one of those.
Okay. Do you have a favorite flavor? Are you a pamplemousse guy?
I don't have a flavor preference. It's I just like the taste of hard, crisp carbonation.
I wish. Okay, so it's funny. It's I've gotten also on the sparkly water trend just by living up here in the Northwest. And I don't know if it's necessarily like the flavor profiles of things or just they just need to have a can of it says carbonization, because I think that's what we really like. It's just, we like the fizz. We like the bubbles. I mean, yeah, sure, it might taste like, lime or something or raspberry or whatever, but I think it's just really the bubbles that just make us happy.
I think so, yeah.
All right. Go to player color.
I actually, I don't have like a preference, but I definitely try not to pick like reds or whites or browns.
So you're anti certain colors.
Yeah, but I also, if I know certain people prefer their colors, they'll take their colors. I'm not going to fight anyone for their colors. So we mentioned someone named Fortessa. Fortessa will always pick purple in any game.
Yeah.
You can't fight her, and you don't want to.
Yeah.
I think she'll just throw the table upside down. So like you have to reset the game, rebuild the table, right? So like you just let her be purple.
Yeah.
I have another friend who prefers green, and if he's not green, he'll move green pieces. Right? So he's just the green player.
Yep.
Apparently Cameron loves yellow.
Yep.
And Panda loves blue.
Yes.
I knew Panda likes blue. Yeah.
She'll flip tables. Yeah. She'll punch people. No, she won't punch people, but she punch people with her eyes.
Gibbets. Yeah. I will just take whatever's left, honestly. It doesn't matter to me. Sorry for the sad, lame answer.
No, I've had people say that they don't have a preference on color, which I think is absolutely bananas. And then I've had people that are like, well, I like these kind of tones. Like, they're in the warm tone palette, or in the cool tone palette, or the earth tone palette, So I like that answer. Your answer is unique. Like, I will not pick these, but everything else, I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of what I would do if I only have one choice left and it happens to be something that I don't want to play. I'll play it.
Sure.
But honestly, based on production, if a color is very rich, and it doesn't matter if I like it or not, if it's very rich or bold, my eyes will gravitate towards it, so I'll pick that color.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Thanks. Do you have Panda's through the table flip emote. Yeah, she will definitely do that. Do you have a favorite designer or someone you look up to when it comes to game design?
Yeah, I do.
My favorite designer. People. It doesn't have to be one person.
Yeah. My favorite designers are who I worked with at Funko. I don't think there's any question in my mind that the four people, all of them come to mind as top tier designers. They all come from different walks of of Earth, whatever the expression is. One was a musician, another one was a musician, another one was an actor. One was a hip hop artist, right? And one was actually a game designer from birth. They're all remarkable people, and even that would include Fortessa in that group. Honestly, so I could name names, but I'd rather just keep them as their name, Prospero Hall. I think they're who I look up to quite a bit and think fondly of daily, multiple times a day.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite game mechanic?
I like action programming and auctions quite a bit.
Okay.
Action programming kind of means you kind of posture that you're going to do something, and then you've planned it out, and then you have to reveal, and maybe it doesn't go in the way that you want it to go. So I like that because it's the plans live change, and you have to kind of adapt quickly or do another action, right?
Okay.
And another mechanic I like is trick taking, and we can talk about trick taking in a minute. But and then what did I say? Auctions. Yes. Auctions kind of feel similar to the action programming, where you're bidding for something, or you're bidding to do a thing, or you're bidding to win this object or token or coin or whatever. But maybe someone goes on top and then now you have to reevaluate what your current state is, and if you go harder or all in on, can you recuperate or can you withstand? And so those decisions are really interesting to me, not just as mechanics, but just as like I'm playing with other people mechanics, right? Because you can't do a solo auction. Like, I bid 5. Oh, I win. Right. You need other people to kind of participate and play on that.
That's cool. That's cool. Can you give an example of some of those, of a game that would highlight each of those mechanics you mentioned?
Absolutely. So one of my favorite games of all time is Age of Steam.
Okay.
I also said one of my favorite games is Magic Maze. These are on like polar opposite parts of the spectrum of games. And why I like it so much or love it. Sorry, I have all of it here. But Age of Steam is so great because the auction is imperative to participate in. And it looks like it's like a train route building game, but it's really an auction game paired with route building. So it kind of give you a visual like resolve of why you're bidding for things. I love that game to pieces, and it has infinite amount of maps to play and replay. And you can feel down and out of the game. And I guess my answer to that would be to not necessarily get good, but like learn from your mistakes and then play better the next time. And then another game would be like Dominant Species. Dominant Species is another like heavier game, but has action programming where you're literally planning out your actions in sequence, and then they might not be what you end up wanting or getting, or because of turn order, or because of when you placed it, the specific moment of you placing an action to resolve, like, yeah. But okay,
that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. All right, do you have a favorite board game memory? Could be good, bad, could be hilarious, could be sad. Something that you just remember in your history of playing board games.
Sure, I have actually quite a bit. The one that comes to my mind immediately is a game called Phantom Inc. It's a game that came out last year by Resonum.
Yeah.
Maybe one of my favorite games, top 2 or 3 games of the year that came out last year. And it's a party. It's a team game. I would dare to say it's a party game, but it's a team game where you and your teammates are trying to collectively find out what the word is. This word is like code names style, like derive at guessing all of the answers. But in code names, it's like, close off all of the pieces. And this game is you have to kind of guess one word, and the person who's giving the clues is trying to give you clues to an answer. The same time, it's the same word for the other team, and they're giving clues for the same object, but it's very ambiguous clues. And the word was buoy. All right, so buoy, whatever, we all know what that is. And I was giving clues for my team, and they figured it out. They knew what the answer was. And in that game, you write the words letter by letter.
Ooh,
and in a moment that a letter is incorrect, I say silencio, or I kind of like say, hey, we stopped, right? So, but I thought I knew the spelling of buoy. And so when they misspelled buoy, I was like, no. And then they had to go completely in a different direction. But they didn't misspell buoy. They were spelling it correctly. I just told them the wrong information. And then they went down the rest of the track thinking something completely different. So I was guiding them towards buoy. They correctly were spelling buoy. I told them they were incorrectly spelling buoy. And they went in a different path. And then when I revealed the answer being buoy, yeah.
They're like, Ashwin, wait! And they pull out the dictionary.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I had to do, yeah. It was pretty sad.
Aww. That's fun. That's definitely memorable. Definitely memorable.
I think so.
Cameron asks, what's your favorite setting for a game? Medieval, sci-fi, mythical?
Great question, Cameron Thompson of Wolves After Dark fame. I don't necessarily like sci-fi, and I would say medieval doesn't really get me up. I think mythical or fantasy would probably be my favorite theme, but that's very generic, I think, because that could be anything. I would be
fantasy.
remiss to say. Go ahead. Yeah, fantasy. Yeah.
Okay. So like dragons, and unicorns and magic and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. The way that you're selling it to me, I don't really care for a theme. if there's dragons and unicorns and stuff, this is a pass question. This is a pass question. There's no theme that really gets me that excited. If there's games
running
that are
a cat
about
cafe?
Next.
Hard
pass.
Creating,
but
creating
actually
the world's
games
tastiest donut.
Pass.
Owning a bookshop.
Pass. Yeah. But yeah, like if I'm collecting books and putting books in shelves, wow, sign me up for that Kickstarter. But and if I have to organize them by color or name, wow, whoa, let's go. But
what about nature? What about nature themes?
Yeah, nature themes do not do it for me at all. I'm sorry. I know it's the top right now, but
dinosaurs.
You have all these questions. You're just pegging me. You're not even letting me think. It's I just watched Jurassic. The answer is no.
Okay.
I watched some Jurassic Park movie with one of the latest ones, and it was awful. No.
High time roller. Yeah, Cameron asked follow up.
I sound like an asshole. I'm sorry.
Do you no, it's fine. Do you like anything?
I like anything?
That's
if the theme's around wolves, maybe. If the theme's around wolves, maybe I'd like it, yeah.
Okay.
To be more specific, though, like there's a theme that's been
or just wolves.
All wolves. Let's see.
Okay.
Let's see what happens. Teen Wolf, Emilio Estevez. Let's go. Yeah.
Nice. All right. So, speaking of Emilio Estevez, do you have a fan experience? Like you saw somebody in the industry and you were like, "Oh my gosh, it's blah blah blah." Insert name here.
Man, this is a cozy chat, but I don't get starstruck.
Okay.
At all. I think they exist and they want to be in their space. And if I see them, I don't want to like stop them and have them sign my face. I don't want that at all. I want them to be enjoying their time, and to see them, that's great.
That's awesome.
I think in a weird way, as a tangent, I did get starstruck once when I was in Las Vegas for a basketball convention.
Okay.
It was called NBA Summer League.
Nice.
And there was a writer that I follow, and I listen to their show, their podcast, and I admire them a lot. And then they were just, they're one of one in my mind, and they're just walking up, next to me, and I just touched his shirt. He didn't think anything of it. I was just like, I'm just gonna touch him.
I was gonna say, did you see like Michael Jordan or something like that?
Oh no. I saw like Dikembe Mutombo at a gas station once.
Whoa!
That was pretty interesting.
Whoa!
I played.
Did you hold up like a big gulp for him to like slap it out of your hand?
I was at a convenience store at the very moment that I saw him, and it was late. He was in and out, and he got star treatment. He cut in line. It was awesome.
That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, Cameron's Team Jacob. All right.
Is Team Jacob
from Twilight?
Twilight.
I have not watched Twilight, but I know Team Jacob because I am an aunt and I have lots of nieces. And they're like, you need to know this, Auntie Jess. So I'm like, okay. not. I don't need to know it, but I do now. So, all right, let's get down. Ooh, this one's a fun one. In your board game collection, Ashwin, do you place your board games horizontally, vertically, or if it fits, it sits?
That's a great question. I don't have an answer for that because it's kind of a mess right now. I prefer them vertically.
Okay.
But I have these like end pieces, right? Maybe like 6 to 8 inches where there's like the support or like the metal like
Sure.
Vertical post. And those 6 inches is real estate for all my card games.
Oh,
and those
nice.
card games those card games sit flat. And they stack.
Okay. So it kind of feels like mostly vertical with some horizontal because of the size of the box.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think I have anything intentionally laid flat unless it's on the floor because I'm lazy and I'm looking that way because it's my collection. Everything is either flat intentionally or it's vertical, and majority of my collection is vertical.
Okay. All right. Cameron says he just watched Twilight a week ago, so you need to watch it now so you can talk about it.
I love that for him. He's someone who watches all the movies, like all the time. Like I can't stop having him talk about movies. Okay. And so I guess now I have another one to watch. I love that for him. Yeah.
Hey, Deadpan. Welcome in.
Hey, Deadpan.
This is a fun one. What is the last thing you backed on crowdfunding? And if you need to pull up your list, that's fine too.
I don't, because it's rare. It's rare that I back anything on Kickstarter. One of my friends did a print 100. So what that means is on Kickstarter you can do like any type of like style. I don't know anything about Kickstarter. I'm sorry. Their Kickstarter was just they wanted to print 100 of something. Okay. So once 100 plus get made, the Kickstarter is successful. It doesn't matter like what amount or threshold. Sure. It's if they get to 100 people subscribing or backing, it's going to be printed. Okay. So this game was called Hermit, and it was designed by a game designer and friend named Emily LaRoche, and she's in the West Coast LA region. And this game is a 18-card solo game where you are kind of getting your hermit crab to the ocean. It is stuck in the sand. You're trying to get it to the ocean. Nice. And so you had to play symbols that match and overlap each other, and it's pretty thinky. It's a filler game. It's I carry it everywhere I go. Yeah. And it's fun. I have it somewhere here. And anyways, it's really dark in my room right now. For the ambiance of the light.
That's very cool, though. That's very cool.
So that's the last game I backed on Kickstarter. How about you?
For me, what the last thing I backed, it was probably Conquest Princess.
I don't know what that is. But...
it's a sci-fi space themed game with all female presenting characters in it, and it's designed by Fight in the Box. That are Sept Yoon, who did cat, mouse, cheese, cucumber. I think that's how it's pronounced.
Whoa, what?
Yeah. Hedgehog Hop, and Sept is fantastic. He's hilarious. But yeah, so this one is like a Euro style game where you are defending planetary uprising. But yeah, you're all like female presented characters. So yeah. That one was
awesome. That's cool.
Hello, Ben Osteen. Yeah, Panda knows Seppi as well, so she could probably chime in more details about it. But it just looked awesome. Cool. It just looked cool.
Yeah. Hey man, you've been asking all these questions. What's your favorite player color? What's your favorite mechanic? What's your favorite game?
Yeah. Fine. Okay, so favorite player color is purple, or anything in the blue color palette.
Okay.
Blue tones is for me. I prefer co-ops over competitive games, but I can play either. I'm really up for either. What was the other one? You asked me?
I don't know. All the questions you've asked me. It's your turn. I flipped the script.
Yeah,
I don't even know what the script is.
So my identifiers are she, her. I create content in the board gaming space. Let's see. Do I have a favorite snack and beverage? Probably, I would say a charcuterie board for game night snack. I love me some meat, cheese, crackers, any combination therein, and probably wine, preferably red wine, for game nights.
Oh, and then when you spill that drink.
Yeah, but I'm pretty careful when it comes to it. Or my player sheets are laminated, so if it spills, it's whatever.
You drink wine out of a tumbler? Or straight out of the box?
Yeah, I just stick a straw in and just carry it around with me. No, I got
Camelback wine?
Yeah, exactly. That could be a thing.
Hey, have we started something?
Oh my gosh, probably. Favorite game designer right now at this moment is Wolfgang Warsch. He did all the Clever series. He did Wavelength. He did The Mind. He did so many other games. I wish I could meet him in person because I think he's just a very clever person. No pun intended, but somewhat pun intended.
Okay, so The Mind is one of your favorite games. Is that
No.
kind of fair to say?
No, It is not.
Because you brought it up a couple times already.
Yeah, it is not actually. I'm terrible at it.
Yeah, I was gonna say
my all-time favorite game though is a game called Elder Sign, and it is because the cooperativeness where the odds are stacked so far against you that when you win a scenario, it just feels much more rewarding. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, I hate the theming. I wish it was like I'm over Cthulhu and Arkham and all of that stuff. So it could be, you know, we're fighting off people trying to steal lollipops from babies. I don't care. Like, it's just, I like the mechanisms in it, the dice rolling, the way where the ability for you to manipulate with cards and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you played Elder Sign or any of those?
I have some great memories of Elder Sign, like sitting in a McDonald's.
Nice.
Playing that with my friend, or then they kicked us out, so we went to the Starbucks next door to continue our campaign. Like that was our mission. That was fun.
Nice.
You know, but I don't remember if I were to go back to it now. I don't know if I would enjoy it the same as then, because that is where, you know, it was kind of capsuled, right? Like the moments and the highs were there.
Yes.
To play it now would be like, oh, but I remember when we were kicked out. That would never happen again, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah. That's one of the games that I've went all in on. So I have every single expansion. I bought the Broken Token, like, organizer thing, assembled it. So, like, it's probably the size of a Gloomhaven box, the organizer. Yeah. And it's
my God. Elder Sign, isn't it, like, this big?
Yeah, but it has, they have, like, 7-8 expansions now.
Oh, so it's like...
So it's all the little sorts.
And they expand the game this way, and then it's Gloomhaven. Yeah. Oh, I got it.
Yeah. So you can fit. There's like it flips open, and then there's drawers in the front, and then there's drawers on the top, so you can like sort in and little smaller boxes for all the components, and then the cards and things like that. Like it's
who needs jewelry and rings and all that stuff when you can just have these little tuck boxes for your Elder Sign?
Absolutely not. Yeah. So yeah, that's one game I would like hands down play anytime, anywhere, any place.
Wow. Even at McDonald's. That's awesome.
Even at a McDonald's. McDonald's gaming is next level. Yes. Cameron, there's nothing wrong with Pepsi and nachos, dude. As long as you're using chopsticks though for that nacho, because you don't want the cheese spilling on your game pieces.
I mean, that's why his games are so
not pristine.
Not pristine. Yeah.
Oh man. All right, Ashwin.
I was wondering why my cards were sticky.
If you could redesign a game, which one would it be?
Unfair question. This is gonna be a pass for me, but there are games that I have kind of got up and left, or like, you know what I mean, like this is not that exciting to me.
Sure.
Or I don't understand the appeal, and honestly, do not clip this. Do not do anything with this exact timestamp here. But I think Seven Wonders might be the game that if you were to put a gun and or a game to my head and say, hey, change this or fix this or do something, I think it'd be Seven Wonders.
Okay.
Not Duel. I think Duel is a fantastic experience.
Yeah.
But Seven Wonders, I
That's
don't feel
fair.
like it's in a game. I don't feel like it's a game.
That's fair. That's very fair.
But that's
Okay.
me being kind of a sourpuss. So
How would you redesign it? Mechanically or theme wise or both?
the theme, ignore any conversation about theme.
Okay.
If we were to talk about redesigning a game based on theme, I have a couple of answers for that. But
Sure.
Mechanically, the game is telling you to take cards and then pass them around a table, and then you might see those cards back again. And it's just like draft and pass. So you've played games like Sushi Go.
Yep.
You've played games, that do that system very well, and that's the flavor. The game is just like it's very pure in that game, in that sense. In this game, you have to draft a card and then pay its resources or pay its cost. If you don't have those resources, you have to pay to the neighbor and or both neighbors to play that card. And you may or may not have all the requirements, so you don't have to pay anything. I wouldn't say there's a lot to track, but the game has this really light feel. But the idea that you have to pay others to play the card, it doesn't feel like it makes any sense. And you're using their resources, but it's just the neighbors. It's not anyone. And if you're playing with the 4 players, you're not playing with that person across the table. You're playing with just the neighbors. And I could cheat in that game, and no one could tell. Like, no one could backtrack because I'm just like picking a card and putting it in my display, right?
Yeah.
So you have to kind of like backseat everyone and make sure that they're all playing correctly.
Yeah. And it goes up to 7 players.
And it goes up to 7 players. So if you play around with 7 players, you never get that card. You never get those cards back, which feels like, why am I drafting? Why is drafting in the first place?
Yeah.
But I digress. The main thing, though, is you can't build the same thing twice. I just played it very recently, so it's very top of mind. And we were playing with some brand new players, which is great. This is my first time playing it, too. After all these years, right, of it being out. Every single person, except for the people who have played before, made a building twice that they weren't supposed to, right? Like, that is, I feel like internally, I'm looking at icons, I'm looking at my resources, I'm looking at the cards that I have in hand. I have to make a quick-ish decision.
Yeah.
The fact that, I have to monitor a lot of things, as well as, if I've already built this building, why can't I not build this building again? Why is the theme telling me I can't? I felt that was pretty subpar. I had a very negative experience, and I'm talking too much about this, but basically it would be that mechanic of you can't play a building more than once.
Sure.
Is something that I would change, just to kind of help anyone and everyone playing the game.
Yeah.
And if someone wins on it, so be it. Like they did it. Stop them next time.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben is right there with you. He says 7 Wonders is not a highlight in his gaming memories.
Right on, Ben Osteen.
Yeah.
Let's be friends.
Yeah. Cameron asks, I don't know if this is taboo, but what is your favorite mainstream game? I'm thinking you're probably asking like mass market. Like, what's your favorite mass market game?
Yeah.
Clue,
It's not taboo at
Monopoly,
all.
Scrabble.
This is not taboo at all to ask. It would be Scrabble. I think so. It would be, no, it's Boggle. It's Boggle by far.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
And it's not just Boggle, it's Big Boggle.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay.
It's Big Bad Boggle.
3 Bs, triple B.
Triple Booze? Yeah. That would be my answer.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'm trying to get my answer, so I'm stroking my beard. It would be like Stratego, I think.
Okay.
Yourself, Cameron?
Yeah, what does Cameron say? For me, I would probably say Yahtzee.
Yahtzee is pretty sweet. Yeah, Yahtzee could be up there for me.
Yeah.
I don't remember the last time I played it, so like it doesn't come to mind. But I think of it a lot because of like all the games that I might be designing right now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's your answer, Cameron? We want to know. Chat wants to know. All right, we're gonna get a little more serious, a little more in depth before we get into the
Sure.
the special segment here. Is there someone in your professional journey that you've looked up to as a mentor when it comes to you becoming a game designer? Not necessarily a game designer themselves, but maybe someone that has helped you along the way.
They may be in chat.
Okay.
They definitely followed you very recently. So a question I wouldn't say you didn't ask. You don't need to ask these questions. But my favorite thing to talk about is like how I got into board games. Mm-hmm. Not like me growing up with like Connect Four pieces in my mouth, but like me, how did I get into board games?
Sure.
So I was trying to find people when I moved here to Seattle. I started a board game group. I think I told you the 2 seconds of that story. But I wanted to find more people because I was kind of outgrowing the group I started. And so I started joining other groups. One group happened to be, and I didn't really read the fine print, but one group was Game Designers Northwest, or Seattle's Game Designers. And I joined it because I recognized a name, Emma Larkins. I joined that group, and it was all prototypes. One of my favorite memories was joining it after a year after joining the group. Like, I joined a session, and I fell in love with the idea of prototypes. And then like weeks later, someone asked me, where's my prototype? I've never thought about game design at all. And I was quickly like, okay, I have to come ready next time. So I was like Googling how to do this, what to do, what would be like the game, the grail, my what would be my white whale of the game. And one of the things I kind of stumbled upon was this mentorship group. I'm trying to have a long-winded but short answer. This mentorship group, the Tabletop Mentorship Group, I recommend to anyone and everyone in the industry wanting to either participate as a mentor, as a mentee, but also just like to support the community that wants to be in the community. And I found, or they matched me with someone, Clarence Simpson. And Clarence, it was my mentor for that. And in the 3 months, I wasted all this time, provided absolutely nothing except for ideas. And I didn't get a game, so I didn't get a game major. I didn't design a whole lot of anything. I designed ideas, and I put things to words on paper. Right? That was a step. So maybe that was a success in itself. But the success really was me finding a partner. In months to come, we kind of exchanged ideas, and we wanted to work on a game together, and that was the rules. So that would be my answer that I maybe went on too long for, but it'd be
that's beautiful.
Clarence Sampson. Who may or may not be in chat.
Aww. That's awesome. That's awesome.
And
go ahead.
Yeah, he's like kind of popped off with like a message from the stars that's going to be on Kickstarter, on All Play. Chomp that came out recently. His game Merchants of Magic is one of the best roll and write games ever. And then he's designed an expansion to that. We're kind of loosely working on a game maybe in the future down the pipeline. It's been a blast to get to know him, as I call him a friend, but he's more of that mentor as well in a lot of ways. He has been in the industry just a little bit longer than me, but has had such a breadth of experience that anyone would be so lucky to have. And he's been able to be a champion for people like me, as well as just like give and bestow knowledge whenever the chance he gets.
That's beautiful. Yeah,
doesn't look like he's here anymore, so he sucks.
You were just saying that because he was here in chat. No, he might still be here. Who knows? Yes, Panda says he is amazing.
Oh, cool.
So with that, though, Ashwin, what would you say to someone that is just starting out in game design? What would be like a first tip of the trade?
Yeah, I love being asked this question now because like 3-4 years ago, I was asking that question.
Sure.
And I didn't have an answer. And the people who were giving me advice was just try things and it's going to fail. You're going to flop, get over it and kind of move on to the next thing. Mm-hmm. My answer is going to be loosely the same, but play all of the games. Before you like want to design a game, go ahead, do it. I am not going to stop you. There's no right or wrong way to do something. But like, what is the game you want to make? You could get so inspired by the things that have been made already. So play a bunch of games to get an idea or to get to a thing that you might be excited about to try in whatever game that you might want to be based on. Like if it's theme, cool. If it's mechanic, cool. But play these games, and it could even be play like, I don't know, pickleball, because it's an activity, but it's a game, and maybe you can like get excited about like a mechanic in pickleball. Like I got really excited about a mechanic in backgammon, which has been used in a lot of games lately, and it's like this idea of a tiebreaker, kind of like a possession arrow in college basketball. Like they're the same thing. This backgammon token is the same thing as possession arrow in basketball. And playing games that are light, like Sushi Go, could inspire you about drafting and passing and set collecting. And why is it so pure and why is it so fun? And maybe that marries or couples into your game. So that it'll be my answer, is to like literally play everything, be uncomfortable, and play party games, play solitaire games, because maybe your game wants to ultimately be a solitaire game. Maybe it wants to be a digital game, and you had no idea, So your path can be a mirror of its successes, and you can iterate and innovate and be this, superstar in the making. But first, you might have to get some grounding, right? You might have to get some feet on the ground first.
Yeah.
And I would say, do that. Play lots and lots of games.
That's awesome. That's a very good idea too, because you don't know what you like until you try something, right? Or dislike.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. That totally makes sense. All right, Ashwin, are you ready? It is time now for the Phantom Lipton questionnaire. I'm switching over to our special segment here. We're calling it the Sir Phantom Lipton questionnaire, and I have
oh my god, the air is so purified.
Oh.
I was looking at your animation.
Yeah. No, we gotta make sure we get pure air in here and get our tasty beverages. All right, Ashwin, are you familiar with Inside the Actor's Studio?
I'm familiar by name, and maybe I saw like a viral clip once or twice.
Okay, so like
I'm more familiar with like Between Two Ferns.
Oh, okay.
Which is like a riff on it.
With Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah.
So like Sir James Lipton did before him, and how it is going to be with this stream here that my lovely co-host Joe Phantom Meeple has adopted for this channel. We are going to do the Sir Phantom Lipton questionnaire. I'm going to ask you 10 rapid-fire questions, Ashwin. Feel free to answer them as you see fit or say pass. And thank you, Cameron, for hanging out with us tonight. Have a wonderful evening. Ashwin, are you ready?
I have to be. If I said I need 10 minutes, like what would you say?
I would say we don't have 10 minutes. Goodbye. Thank you, everyone. See you later.
Yeah. All right. Go.
All right. What is your favorite board game?
Age of Steam.
Okay. What is your least favorite board game?
I have to go on Board Game Geek.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. I wasn't prepared. I mean, I just said one of them. I want to be kosher.
Okay.
Okay. I think I'm confident in saying Catan.
Okay. All right. Which game makes you feel the most happy?
My gosh, these questions are tripping me. Raw.
Okay. Which game makes you feel the most sad?
um, like, I don't know how to answer this question.
Okay, that's fine. You can
If
pass.
I'm playing a game and I'm sad, why am I playing it? Or do I want to feel sad?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or does a game like Resolve make me feel sad? Like the story.
Right.
So my
However you wanna
answer will, I will give you one answer, and that will be Station Fall.
Okay. Which gaming components do you love?
What gaming components do I love? I love cubes.
Okay. Which gaming components do you dislike?
I'm not the biggest fan of dice,
Okay.
despite designing games with dice.
That's fair. That's fair. Which board game is so bad that its name should become a curse word?
What? What game is so bad?
And you can interpret bad in however way you want to interpret bad.
Oh no. Come on, Jess. This is not fair.
You can pass.
I'm not going to pass because that sounds like something I wouldn't do. I'm going to go ahead and say ready, set, bet.
Okay. Okay. Which profession other than your own currently would you like to attempt?
What? I would love to be a sculptor.
Okay.
Like in pottery, in metalworking, probably metalworking.
Yeah.
Yeah. There it is.
Okay. Sweet. Which profession would you not like to attempt?
Accounting.
Okay. And finally, Ashwin, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say to you when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Howdy.
There you go. And that, my
I
friend,
had to think about it for a minute.
is the Sir Phantom Lipton questionnaire. You passed, Ashwin. You passed.
Oh, could I have failed?
Yes, you could have.
Oh.
You could have just said pass on everything.
Jess, what game makes you feel sad?
There's a game called And Then We Held Hands.
Oh, sure.
It made me sad because I have a not so great memory of my husband and I playing it, and we actually got in a fight, and we were on vacation, and
Sure.
like, we didn't talk to each other for a very long time
Yeah.
while we
Oh
were
my
on
gosh,
vacation
yeah.
because of that game. So
Yeah.
when we got home, we straight away threw it in the donation pile, the trade pile.
Totally. I used to love this game with all my heart, and it was like Warhammer, like a tabletop miniatures game. And I was playing competitively, and someone was like cheating deliberately, and kind of like, you move a dude 6 inches, but he moves it 9, right?
Yeah.
And I would call him out on it, like, go ahead and do what you want to do, but your character can only move 6 inches. And he threw the miniature at me,
Wow.
and then I stopped playing the game. Not just because of that experience, but like that was kind of the last chapter.
Yeah, of course. That's not okay.
Yeah.
All right, Ashwin, I have 3 more questions for you before we sign off.
Oh,
First,
sure.
what are list a top 5 games that you would take with you on a weekend getaway? So like desert island, you're on a desert island. What's the top 5 games you would take with you?
I need to give you 5 games right now, or what?
Yes, 5 right now. You're going away for a weekend. What 5 games do you take with you?
Who am I with? My 4 best friends?
Yeah, it could be.
Family that doesn't exist?
It could be.
You?
Yeah. Whatever.
Am I? Whatever.
Yeah. If you were like, okay, there's a fire alarm that goes out and you have to leave your house right now for 2 days, which 5 games would you take with you?
Oh my god. This is crazy. What? This game? These questions.
Raw? Would you take Raw with you?
So Raw would be 1.
Okay.
Schadenfreude, which is a trick taker, would be 1.
Yeah.
I would want to say Aurum, a new trick taker by my friend Shrish, by Panasaurus. I would take that.
Okay.
I would probably take a game like Argent or Keyflower or some sort of worker placement auction.
Okay.
I would go with Argent, and then I'd probably go with. I said Raw already. I'd go with Age of Steam, because I think if I were just closed off in a room with people, they would have to play this game with me. So
okay. All right. Next question. What is your Grail game?
Grail game meaning what? Like, so if I like, because we haven't really talked about design at all. Like a game that I want to design, or what is a game I wish existed?
Yes, that. Like if you had this game in your collection, you could die the next day.
I have no idea. What's your what would be your answer?
My Grail game? That is hard to say. I will.
I'll say Glory to Rome.
Okay.
It's a Carl Chudik classic that's out of print.
Okay. Gosh,
I don't know.
I don't know. That is a hard one. I can't even answer that one myself.
Oh, by the way, those 5 games that I just mentioned as like Desert Island games. Nope, I have a brand new list. I could say 5 new ones.
Forget that.
So like,
we'll scratch the first list.
Oh, I'm just saying, like, this list is changing like minute to minute. This is unfair. Phantom Inc.
Oh,
Oz of Teutonica.
That's it? Just those 2?
Oh, I mean, I'm saying.
You said like, you had a whole new list.
Well, I'm not really like. All right, it'd be Raw.
Okay.
It's a partially new list.
There you go. Hey, Dutch Yoda. Good morning to you, friend. Good morning.
Hey, Dutch Yoda.
All right, so here we go, Ashwin. Do you consider yourself a player first, a designer second, or has the creative process overtaken the hobby aspect of games for you?
Oh wow, I love that question. I don't know if like you wrote that specifically or just thought of that for me. I think I'm a designer first and a player second.
Okay.
But 4 years ago, I was a player only, right? And so that has been a crescendo and a flip of the story. My script has been completely changed. So I'm a player second.
Nice. And I'll do this one. Finally. If this was your last day on Earth, Ashwin, what would your final dish be? And then I'm going to extend it out to 3 meals. So if you had breakfast, lunch, and dinner, what would your final day of meals be?
Honestly, just some home-cooked food from my mother. Okay. And it would be like simple South Indian style food. One of my favorite dishes on earth is probably something that would never get anyone excited for, and it's literally like it's kind of like a spicy tomato soup on rice.
Ooh.
That's it. Like It doesn't sound that exciting, but it's one of my favorite dishes. It's called russet and rice. That's it, I think.
Okay.
I don't have like
mom. Anything from mom.
Anything from mom. Honestly, like I think, like a dosa. Like this is all Indian food, though, right?
That's fine.
It'd be all Indian food or like Korean barbecue.
Okay, that'd be awesome. That sounds tasty to me. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. And that feels comforting, like comfort food, right? Especially if it's homemade.
I think so.
Especially if it's homemade.
Yeah, if it can't be homemade, it would be Korean barbecue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Ashwin, this has been awesome. Where can folks find you on the internet, and what projects do you have coming up?
Projects that I have coming up, I have no idea because there's nothing like to be announced really. So, but I'm working on a bunch of small designs that haven't, seen much light. Where you can find me on the internet, I'm not really active these days on the internet, but I'm on Twitter/X at BoardGameGee. I'm at BoardGameGee on most sites. I think Blue Sky is where I'm going to try to be as most active moving forward, but I don't know how to even kind of like cite where I am. Like I think I'm at bluesky.net at BoardGameGee or whatever that's called.
Whatever your URL is. It's very long.
Mm-hmm.
I tagged you on Blue Sky, so everyone can see it.
Oh, awesome. Thanks.
Yeah. And we'll make sure to tag this because this will be up on YouTube in the coming weeks. Ashwin, are you going to any conventions this year?
The next convention that you'll see me at will be probably PAX Unplugged, unless something changes that I would go somewhere else before that.
Okay.
But PAX Unplugged in Philadelphia. I'll be there, and that's in December on my birthday.
Ooh, sweet. That's awesome. I will be there as well, so we'll have to connect and share like a birthday coffee or something.
Birthday coffee it is.
Or
you're going to be there. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm going to be helping out with Rose Gauntlet over there. So.
Oh, cool.
Super stoked.
Hey, how was your experience playing animated? I saw like 20 or so minutes of it, and then I had to leave.
Oh my gosh. So we enjoy it. So for those that aren't aware, if you come in late to the stream, Ashwin helped design Disney Animated, which came from Funko Games. And my husband and I are big Disney nerds. We got our first date was at Disneyland. Our honeymoon was at Disney World. We had somewhat Disney themed. Some like a lot of our like story like together as a couple has been around Disney.
That's so fun.
Yeah. So like being here and like playing that game was just really cool because it reminded us a lot of when we were at Disneyland. If you've ever gone, there's a place in California Adventure called the Animation Studio where they teach you like rough sketches of some of the characters. You sit in there for like 45 minutes and you just have this huge canvas and a pencil and they like teach you step by step, shape by shape. This is how you draw Mickey Mouse, or this is how you draw Jack Skellington, or something like that. And
that's so fun.
We have like a binder full of like all the sketches that we've done. So that one was really cool for us to see like the background tiles you lay in, then you put the cells underneath, and like for us mechanically, it just all made sense. But then it was enjoyable in the fact that it brought up those really good memories of us being at the park. So yeah, so we really enjoyed it. And it was enough of a good tension too, because it's cooperative. So you have this clock. For those that aren't familiar with the game, there's a clock, certain number of rounds, that if you don't complete your film and by the end of the rounds, then you end. You lose the game essentially. We were down to the last round, and we had one of the villains still in play. And it was like our last two moves like dictated whether or not we won or lost. And to us, that's a really good tension in a game, right? And we played on standard mode. So we're really excited to like bump it up to like the advanced mode. We didn't want to do simple because when it comes to cooperative games, we've played enough that we understand mechanics of a co-op game that we didn't want it to be like, it's okay. If we just played on easy or beginner mode, whatever it's called. So we played on standard, and that was good right there to like have us understand the mechanics of the game and overall like playing it. So we were like, oh, we need to do this. Like, oh my gosh, like if this happened any other way, that we could have lost the game. So yeah, we super enjoyed it. And yeah, and David was really excited that like you came by and said hi and things like that too. And I was also mentioning the roomies over at Room 51 really enjoyed playing it. They played it over on their channel as well. So yeah, it was a really awesome. really good game mechanic, and something that I think people can get into because of the theming of it being Disney. Like that IP just kind of seems to draw in a lot of people. But yeah, we definitely enjoyed it for sure.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wasn't trying to like pry all of that, but it's like what you just said about the memory of like going down to Disneyland. I've never been, right? What you said about like you love Disney, your life is kind of encapsulated by Disney. I have had no experience of Disney. I had to study, and study means like read and watch and give two hoots about every part of that property. Right. Learn how Disney became a thing and utilize, and we have as a group think tank had to like utilize that. How can we make these into mechanisms? Yeah. And then how can we make people feel alive in the game? Not like putting a card down, but like emphasizing the fact that you're doing something special. And you, the player, have decided that this is the special thing that you get to do. Yeah. That was a really fun, like, leveling up moment when we were designing the game. Yeah. And, the tension came in kind of last minute where, like, the villain started to attack back. And that was, I'm very proud of that game. Very proud of the team who worked behind it. And, man, you could just see the process. And, like, I have sketches and iterations that all went into the dumpster. But I provided a bunch of no's, you know what I mean? Like I gave so many things that weren't included in the game, but may have been a part of the game had they not been tested out. You know, if that makes sense?
Yes. Yeah, it was very well done.
So it felt like a very polished, finished, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
Borderline difficult game to.
Absolutely. Which is good because there's also something to be said. Sorry, I know we're running over time, but there's something to be said with, no, I want to be respectful of your time. That's what I'm saying. Something to be said when it comes to games that are attractive because of their theming, and then games that are attractive because of the mechanisms behind it. So I didn't want to like step into it to go, oh, this is a Disney themed game. Oh, it's light. It's fun. You know, it's enjoyable, but there's not much game there. You know what I'm saying? But this one had that like nice combination of both, where there was like, this is a game and it can accelerate, but this is also a game that we could share with some of our family members that are not really into like heavy hardcore Euro gaming or, you know, anything of that effect, but they could jump into this because the mechanisms are easy to understand. You know, this is the step because that makes sense. Dino Corgi's in the chat. Hello, my friend. They say, I have definitely said that's a sexy mechanic more than once.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Dino Corgi, I've seen you around before.
Yeah, Dino Corgi oversees Jack Rose Tree games. They do a lot on Screen Top. They live in the Indianapolis area. Wait,
Dino Corgi is Jack Rose Tree?
Yes.
Hi. What? That's awesome. What's up, Jack?
Yeah, so they have been on this channel at a few times, and I've often gotten to play their game designs and stuff. So yeah.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah, so they're like, yeah, I totally get it. Coming from a game designer. We had them also on a stream like this to interview them and all of their, get a little cozy chat with them as well. So
that's cool.
Yeah, but this has been fantastic, Ashwin. Thank you, and I'm glad we got to talk more, you know, in-depth stuff, but also some lighter fare. I hope you felt cozy, but also maybe on your toes. An unexpected interview. In a way?
Well, it was an unexpected interview because you asked me recently, and then while I had nothing going on, it was still it kept me on my toes because the questions you asked were not anticipated. I don't, you know what I love was when I sometimes when I play test, I give feedback about like emotion
Yes.
and like how I felt when I played or how this allowed me to feel this thing. There was a game that's been on Kickstarter recently that like I loved. It was called Ovation by Kirsten Lund. I loved that I was able to kind of immerse myself in this theme and then gift, reward other players, even though I'm competing with them, gift other players things. It made me feel really excited and warm. When you asked me the question, what game made me felt sad? Like, I went into a space of like what made me feel mad and like what made me want to get up and leave. And you said something about like, and then we died, or like, I forgot the game name. But like,
and then we held hands.
And then we held hands, and it was like because it was like a sad memory. And and then I was thinking as I was kind of processing, like there's like a game called Time Stories, which makes you feel a certain way, or there's a game. So like
I have some thoughts on that game. Ooh.
Likewise, and yeah. So Time Stories, I meant emotion. I just love that question, and it caught me off guard because like I don't typically have to like process and like explain myself. I just kind of discuss or talk about my emotion. That's cool to have these kind of questions come up, and then I hope this was fun for you.
Absolutely.
I'm around at any point in time if you ever want to hang out and play games with, or
and be a stream guest. I'm sure me and Panda. Yeah, just be my friend. Yeah, absolutely. And it was really cool to game with you. Like what is it, a couple months ago now when you were in town for PGC Con. So.
Oh my gosh! I talk so highly of it every time.
Yeah.
So much so that like we're trying to do like PGC minis up here in Seattle every now and then.
Nice. That's awesome. Oh no, Dino Corky says my friends group quit Flashpoint one turn in because the dog token died.
Oh my gosh.
I have a story where I played Firefly the board game before actually watching the series. And apparently I killed off one of the beloved characters, like, within the first couple turns. And, like, I was, like, hosed for the rest of the game. Like, everyone around the table was like, how dare you? And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like,
oh, my gosh. There was a moment in Battlestar Galactica, a game I've not seen a single episode, don't know any of the characters, anything about the show. And I kind of mentioned that sci-fi is not my thing.
Yeah.
But I loved that game so much so because of one experience of someone shuffling the deck of cards that you get rolls every round, and the rolls can change, and accidentally put in all of the cards they were supposed to take out, and we were all like scions in the game, and we were supposed to only have like one or two scions. So it was a remarkable moment of like we were all pointing each other at like Spider-Man meme style, and then we all revealed being like, I think this game is busted. Because we are confident that Ashwin is a scion, but why am I also a scion? And you're also revealing it. Yeah, it was hilarious.
No. Oh, that's too funny. That's too funny.
But like, I guess the Flashpoint dog dying is sad, but
definitely sad.
Everyone's a scion is like, man, some of the best experience you'll have in the game. When everyone's a traitor, my gosh.
Yeah, that's something else. That's something else. Mm-hmm. All right, friends. Well, I'm going to send you over on a raid to Benita K. She's currently playing Catan, Dawn of Humankind, with some of her family members, so that's pretty cool.
Well, you know me and my love for Catan.
Yeah, we're just going to do that because Ashwin loves it, but we really, in all seriousness, we love Benita.
Love Benita. Love. Hate Catan.
Yeah. We can share the equal disdain for Catan. No, just kidding.
No.
No, this has been awesome, Ashwin. Thanks so much for joining. Make sure you're catching Ashwin on the Twitter X at Board Game Gee right there.
I'm barely on there.
But at least maybe you can find his Blue Sky account and friend him there.
Yep.
But this has been awesome. Any final words, Ashwin, before we sign off?
Be kind to yourself.
Yeah, I like it. Be kind, friends. Enjoy your games, and we'll catch y'all on the next stream. Bye, everybody.
Bye.